Hi everyone, welcome to Kitty Cat Circus. This is episode 2 of Stilts History. In the last episode, we covered the earliest mention of stilt walking, performance, survival, shepherds, farmers. Well, in this episode, this is where it's going to get pretty cool because in some cultures, stilts weren't just practical, they were sacred and spiritual. As well, we're going to cover some other parts, but I'm going to keep that a surprise for you. Section 1, West African Village Guardians. This wasn't just people walking around tall on stilts. They wore masks, costumes, full body coverings. You couldn't see the human underneath the costume. Many African tribes believed that the Moko Jumbies served as spiritual seers and protectors of the villages. It was believed that the height of the Moko Jumbies allowed them to see danger or bad spirits before it reached the village. Traditional African Moko Jumbie costumes were adorned with mirrors with the belief that the evil spirits were afraid to see their own reflection. In Central Africa, it was believed that the Moko Jumbies ward off the evil spirits by their mockery of them. In some traditions, these towering figures were moving through the villages during celebrations, festivals, cleansing rituals. They weren't just entertaining. They were spiritually cleansing spaces, scaring off the evil spirits, and protecting the community. This rare early photograph captures Moko Jumbies, traditional stilt walking masqueraders, performing in public space of Port of Spain, Trinidad. The image dates back to circa 1917 to 1919, a time when Moko Jumbies were still woven naturally into daily urban life rather than staged for tourism. This is a powerful glimpse of living tradition before modern carnival took shape. Section 2, when the street becomes the stage. Carnival makes something very clear. You don't need a theater to have a stage. In Rio de Janeiro, Carnival lands at late February or early March, and the whole city becomes a moving stage. For weeks leading up to the carnival, the streets fill with rehearsals, blocos, shows, parades, and dancing. During the peak days, it's nonstop. People are out in the streets on their stilts from day to night and night to day. The stilters really become moving landmarks of the city. I've not personally experienced this yet. It is a dream of mine to go to Rio for Carnival and to get tall with all of the stilt walkers out there. I do follow a lot of them online, and just getting a small glimpse into their world is something I really cherish a lot. The popularity of stilt walking is surging in Rio de Janeiro, evolving from a carnival exclusive experience into a year-round transformative activity for thousands of residents. Stilt walking is said to have made a huge impact on the community, empowering people through improved confidence and balance. All of the stilt walkers, the training, and the workshops has really helped create a local appreciation and industry for this art form. I think that is definitely a dream of mine, to just bring as many people together on stilts. I just think that we could be limitless. I think that we could be unstoppable. I think that we could do things together that we never would have thought is possible. And it's something that I want to be a part of or create wherever I go. I absolutely believe that stilt walking can have a very positive impact on mental health, and I think it's so awesome that people cared enough to teach thousands of people in the city so that they can all come together and share this passion together. It's, wow, powerful. Section 3. You ready for this one? Stilt jousting. So here we take a look at Belgium, and Belgium has a really special place in my heart. I've visited there many times. I lived there for almost a year. I've seen the whole country. I love it very much. But you know what? This is before I ever found stilt walking. Had I known that in Belgium there is stilt jousting for like the last 600 years, That definitely would have been a priority to see. I guess I'm just gonna have to go back. The history that we're looking at here isn't just people walking on stilts. This is rival teams, street fighting, kings watching, hundreds of years of chaos. And somehow it still exists to this day. And this is located in Namur, Belgium. Long before anything about stilt jousting was written down, it was said that a lot of the locals of Namur were using stilts to navigate flooded streets where two big rivers crossed one another. But by the early 1400s, stilt walking had clearly become something much bigger than navigating flooded roads. The earliest record we see of stilt walking in Namur, Belgium isn't a celebration, it's a ban. In 1411, the government declared that anybody over the age of 13 was not allowed to fight on stilts. This tells us a lot. You don't make laws on something the moment that it appears. You make laws when it's been around long enough and wildly enough that it starts causing problems. And it was. But the interesting thing is, the ban didn't end stilt jousting. Stilt jousting just got off the streets and evolved into something much bigger than street fights. What was once fighting in the streets and getting banned by the government turned into something that was celebrated amongst the city. By the 1500s, fighters had two rival teams, the Melons from the old rival city and the Avrasés from the outer neighborhoods and villages. Basically, city center versus outsiders. The Melons wore yellow and black and the Avrasés wore white and red. These weren't polite little matches. These were battles on stilts. People pushing and striking and trying to knock you off of your stilts to win the battle. You bet I looked up if anybody died from doing this. I would imagine if you're thrown down hard enough on your stilts, there goes your head. But no, nobody died in this historical thing that is still happening to this day. Namur's stilt fighters ended up putting on a battle for Philip the Good. Later, they performed for emperors, kings, and other visiting rulers. What once looked like disorder and chaos was something that the city was proud to showcase. Part sport, part theater, part controlled chaos. The tradition definitely didn't die, it just evolved into ways that they could do it and not get in trouble for it. What may have begun as navigating flooded streets on stilts turned into one of the most unique living traditions in Europe. Did you know about stilt jousting before we just talked about it right here? Because I didn't. Here's something that really stood out to me. For pretty much all of the history of stilt jousting was only for men. It wasn't until 2018 that they opened it up to women, with the first women's battle being in 2022. I know what you're thinking. Come on, Kitty, take your stilts, go and battle. I think maybe not. I've been pushed over on my stilts before. It's not fun. Men definitely make up most of the sport to this day, but at least now it's open to women, and every woman that participates continues to change history. Episode 1 shows us how people use stilts to survive, and episode 2 is showing us more of how people use stilts to protect, but also to compete. From village guardians to carnival giants, stilts became more than a tool. It became a part of culture, a part of tradition, and it also became joy. But maybe not so joyous for those being pushed off of their stilts. In the next episode, stilts leave the streets and enter the theater. Circus, costume, character. The moment a stilt walker becomes much more than just a person on stilts, it becomes a bigger part of the bigger picture. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll see you for episode 3. Bye.